Alfheim. Alfheim, a realm from Norse mythology, is the home of the light elves. These beings are considered ethereal and radiant, living in a world of beauty and light. Unlike the dark elves, light elves are often depicted as benevolent and closely associated with nature and fertility. The purpose of Alfheim was to provide a dwelling for these elves, who were believed to influence the natural world, aiding in growth and prosperity. Norse mythology holds that the light elves are intermediaries between the gods and humans, and their realm is a place of harmony and light. Annwn. Annwn is an enchanting realm from Celtic mythology, often referred to as the Otherworld or Paradise. It is depicted as a land of eternal youth, abundance and beauty, untouched by sorrow or suffering. The purpose of Annwn was to serve as a final resting place for souls, a paradise where the dead could live in eternal bliss. In Celtic belief, Annwn was accessible to the living under certain conditions, often during specific times of the year or through mystical journeys. Asgard. Asgard is the celestial stronghold from Norse mythology, home to the Aesir gods, including Odin and Thor. Depicted as a magnificent city with golden halls and impregnable walls, Asgard is connected to Midgard, the human world, by the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost. Asgard's primary role was to serve as the divine residence of the gods, a place where they convened and ruled over the cosmos. The Norse believed Asgard was a realm of great power and wisdom, where the gods would prepare for Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. Atlantis. Atlantis, from Greek mythology, is a legendary island mentioned by the philosopher Plato in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. Described as a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before Plato's time, Atlantis was characterized by its impressive architecture, technological prowess, and a powerful navy. According to the myth, Atlantis was intended to be an ideal society, but its inhabitants became morally corrupt and greedy, leading to their downfall. The Greeks believed that the gods punished Atlantis by submerging it beneath the ocean in a single day and night of misfortune. Avalon. Avalon, a mystical island from Celtic mythology, is famously associated with the legends of King Arthur. It is depicted as a paradisiacal place where magic and healing are prevalent and where the fabled sword Excalibur was forged. Avalon served as a sanctuary and a place of recovery for King Arthur after he was grievously wounded in battle. In the Arthurian legends, it is believed that Arthur would one day return from Avalon to lead his people once again. Aru. In Egyptian mythology, Aru, also known as the Field of Reeds, is the heavenly paradise reserved for souls who led virtuous lives. It is depicted as a lush, fertile expanse filled with bountiful crops and serene waters, mirroring the ideal version of the Nile's surroundings. The purpose of Aru was to provide a perfect afterlife for the righteous, where they could continue to enjoy all the pleasures and comforts of earthly life without any of its sufferings. Ancient Egyptians believed that to reach Aru, a soul had to pass the judgment of Osiris, where their heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Dilmun. Dilmun, from Mesopotamian mythology, is often depicted as a paradise where the Sumerian deities dwelled. It is portrayed as a pristine, unspoiled land filled with sweet water, where sickness and death were absent, and everything existed in perfect harmony. Dilmun served as a dwelling place for gods and a utopian land of eternal life and abundance. The Sumerians believed Dilmun was the site where the gods created humanity and performed many of their divine acts. Duat. Duat is the realm of the dead in Egyptian mythology, an underworld where souls journey after death. It is depicted as a vast and complex landscape filled with various regions, rivers, and gates, guarded by fearsome creatures and deities. The purpose of Duat was to serve as a place of judgment and transformation, where the dead faced trials to determine their worthiness for the afterlife. Egyptians believed that the soul's journey through Duat was perilous and required guidance from the Book of the Dead. El Dorado. El Dorado, a legendary city of gold from South American folklore, is depicted as a place of immense wealth and splendour. The myth originates from tales of a king or chief who would cover himself in gold dust and dive into Lake Guatavita, offering treasures to the gods. The purpose of El Dorado was to represent a utopia of riches and prosperity, a place where unimaginable wealth could be found. South American tribes believed in the existence of such a city, and it became the focus of many European explorers' quests during the Age of Discovery. Elysian Fields. Elysian Fields, also known as Elysium, is the resting place for heroic and virtuous souls in Greek mythology. It is depicted as a blissful and tranquil paradise, often located at the edge of the earth or in the underworld, where the souls enjoyed eternal happiness and peace. The purpose of Elysium was to reward those who lived righteous lives or were favoured by the gods, offering them an afterlife free from toil and suffering. Greeks believed that Elysium was a land of perfect contentment, reserved for heroes, demigods, and the righteous. Helheim. Helheim is the realm of the dead in Norse mythology, ruled by the goddess Hel. It is depicted as a cold, dark, and dreary place located in the depths of the world, where souls who did not die in battle ended up. The purpose of Helheim was to house those who died of old age, illness, or other natural causes, as opposed to the heroic fallen who went to Valhalla. Norse mythology holds that Helheim was a place of gloomy stillness and eternal separation from the joys of Asgard and Midgard. Jotunheim. Jotunheim, from Norse mythology, is the land of the giants. It is depicted as a rugged and untamed wilderness, filled with formidable mountains, deep forests, and harsh landscapes. Jotunheim served as the home of the giants, who were often in conflict with the gods of Asgard. The Norse believed that Jotunheim was a place of chaos and primordial power, representing the forces of nature and the untamed aspects of the world. Ker. In Mesopotamian mythology, Ker is the Sumerian underworld, often depicted as a dark, cavernous realm beneath the earth. It is portrayed as a gloomy and desolate place where the dead reside, separated from the living world. The primary purpose of Ker was to serve as the final destination for souls after death. Sumerians believed that Ker was ruled by the goddess Ereshkigal and guarded by fierce creatures like the dragon-like Ker itself. Mount Kunlun. Mount Kunlun, in Chinese mythology, is a legendary mountain considered the dwelling place of deities and immortals. It is depicted as a towering sacred peak surrounded by mystical landscapes and divine palaces. The purpose of Mount Kunlun was to serve as a celestial abode for the gods and a place of enlightenment and immortality. Chinese mythology describes it as a paradise of unparalleled beauty, where the Queen Mother of the West, Zhuangmu, resides. Mount Meru. Mount Meru, in Hindu mythology, is a sacred mountain considered the centre of the universe. It is depicted as a colossal golden peak surrounded by various celestial realms and mythical creatures. The purpose of Mount Meru was to act as a cosmic axis, around which the universe revolves. Hindus believe that Mount Meru is the abode of the gods and the centre of both the physical and spiritual worlds. Midgard. Midgard, in Norse mythology, is the world of humans, situated between the realms of gods, Asgard, and the underworld, Helheim. It is depicted as a vast and inhabited land encircled by a massive ocean, with the world serpent Jormungandr residing in its depths. The purpose of Midgard was to serve as the habitation for humanity, created by the gods from the body of the giant Mjir. Norse mythology holds that Midgard is connected to Asgard by the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost and is protected by the gods from various threats. Mictlan. Mictlan, from Mesoamerican mythology, is the Aztec underworld, where souls journey after death. It is depicted as a multi-layered realm, each level presenting different challenges and obstacles for the dead. The primary purpose of Mictlan was to serve as a final destination for most souls, who had to navigate through 9 levels to reach their eternal rest. Aztecs believed that Mictlan was ruled by the god Mictlantecuhtli and his wife Mictlantecuhtli, who presided over the dead. Muspelheim. Muspelheim, in Norse mythology, is the realm of fire and the home of the fire giants. It is depicted as a scorching, fiery land filled with lava, flames, and burning embers. The purpose of Muspelheim was to represent the elemental force of fire and serve as the abode of the fire giants, including their leader, Surtur. Norse mythology foretells that during Ragnarok, the fire giants of Muspelheim will play a crucial role, with Surtur leading them in the final battle against the gods. Nav. Nav, in Slavic mythology, is the underworld or realm of the dead. It is depicted as a shadowy, misty realm existing parallel to the living world, where the souls of the deceased reside. The purpose of Nav was to serve as a resting place for the dead and a domain ruled by dark deities or spirits. Slavic beliefs often describe Nav as a place that the living could access through certain rituals or during specific times of the year, such as during ancestor worship festivals. Niflheim. Niflheim, in Norse mythology, is the realm of ice and cold, often depicted as a dark, foggy and frigid world. It is considered one of the oldest realms, filled with icy rivers and perpetual frost. The primary purpose of Niflheim was to embody the element of cold and act as a counterbalance to the fiery realm of Muspelheim. Norse cosmology holds that Niflheim is the source of the icy rivers that flowed into the Ginnungagap, contributing to the creation of the world. Olympus. Olympus, in Greek mythology, is the majestic home of the Greek gods, depicted as a grand, towering mountain. It served as the central point of the divine realm, where gods held court, feasted, and discussed the fate of humans and the world. Greeks believed Olympus was a place of eternal beauty, peace, and grandeur, inaccessible to mortals. Penglai. Penglai, in Chinese mythology, is a mystical island paradise, often depicted as an idyllic and enchanting place located in the Bahai Sea. It is one of the Isles of the Immortals, featuring beautiful palaces, rare plants, and precious stones. The primary purpose of Penglai was to serve as a residence for the immortals and a place where one could find the elixir of immortality. Chinese folklore describes Penglai as a place where the land floats, free from suffering and death. Shambhala. Shambhala, in Tibetan Buddhism, is a mythical kingdom said to be hidden somewhere in Inner Asia. It is depicted as a place of peace, prosperity, and enlightenment, surrounded by snowy mountains and filled with wisdom and spirituality. The primary purpose of Shambhala was to serve as a spiritual haven and a centre of enlightened beings, guiding the world towards wisdom and compassion. Tibetan Buddhists believe that Shambhala is ruled by a line of enlightened kings who uphold the teachings of the Buddha and protect the kingdom from ignorance and suffering. Svartalfheim. Svartalfheim, also known as Nidavellir, is the realm of the dwarves in Norse mythology. It is depicted as a dark subterranean world filled with intricate forges and workshops. The purpose of Svartalfheim was to serve as the home and workplace of the dwarves, master smiths who crafted many of the gods' powerful artifacts, such as Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and Odin's spear Gungnir. Norse mythology holds that Svartalfheim is a place of immense skill and creativity, where the dwarves create items of unparalleled craftsmanship. Takamagahara. Takamagahara, in Japanese mythology, is the plane of high heaven and the dwelling place of the gods. It is depicted as a serene and exalted realm above the earth, filled with celestial beauty and harmony. The primary purpose of Takamagahara was to serve as the heavenly domain of the gods, where they governed the world and maintained cosmic order. Japanese mythology describes it as the abode of major deities, including Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and other prominent figures from Shinto beliefs. Tartarus. Tartarus, in Greek mythology, is a deep abyss used for tormenting the wicked and imprisoning the Titans who were defeated by the Olympian gods. It is depicted as a dark, dismal pit far beneath the surface of the earth, surrounded by unbreakable walls and guarded by fierce monsters. The primary purpose of Tartarus was to serve as a place of punishment for the most heinous sinners and a prison for the foes of the gods. Greeks believed Tartarus was a part of the underworld where the souls of the damned suffered eternal torment for their crimes. Tir na Nog. Tir na Nog in Celtic mythology is the eternal realm of youth and beauty, often described as an enchanting island paradise. It is depicted as a land where time stands still, and its inhabitants remain forever young, living in perpetual happiness and abundance. The purpose of Tir na Nog was to serve as a utopian otherworld where the souls of the righteous and beloved could enjoy an idyllic existence free from suffering and aging. Celtic mythology tells many tales of heroes and mortals who journeyed to Tir na Nog, often lured by its promise of eternal youth. Tlaalocan. Tlaalocan in Mesoamerican mythology is an Aztec paradise specifically reserved for those who died by drowning, lightning, or diseases associated with water. It is depicted as a lush, green paradise filled with abundant food, flowers, and perpetual spring. The primary purpose of Tlaalocan was to provide a heavenly resting place for those who died in ways considered sacred to Tlaloc, the god of rain and fertility. The Aztecs believed that souls sent to Tlaalocan enjoyed eternal happiness and comfort, living in harmony with the elements. Valhalla. Valhalla, in Norse mythology, is the magnificent hall of the slain warriors chosen by Odin. It is depicted as a grand and splendid hall with a roof made of golden shields, where the bravest warriors reside after their heroic deaths in battle. The primary purpose of Valhalla was to serve as a training ground for these warriors, preparing them for the ultimate battle during Ragnarok. Norse mythology holds that Odin personally selects the fallen heroes to join him in Valhalla, where they feast and train daily. Vanaheim. Vanaheim in Norse mythology is the realm of the Vanir gods, and often depicted as a beautiful and fertile land. It is considered the home of deities associated with fertility, prosperity, and nature, such as Njord, Freya, and Freyja. The primary purpose of Vanaheim was to serve as the residence for the Vanir, who were in a constant state of cooperation and occasional conflict with the Aesir gods of Asgard. Norse beliefs highlight that Vanaheim represents the natural and earthly elements, contrasting with the more warrior-oriented Aesir. Viraj. Viraj, in Slavic mythology, is a paradise believed to be the destination for birds during winter and the souls of the dead. It is depicted as a lush and idyllic realm, often located beyond the sea or high in the heavens, filled with eternal spring and blooming flowers. The primary purpose of Viraj was to act as a haven for the souls and a symbol of eternal life and renewal. Slavic mythology often describes Viraj as a sacred place where the world tree grows, with birds acting as messengers between the earthly and the divine. Yomi. Yomi, in Japanese mythology, is the land of the dead, often depicted as a dark and gloomy realm beneath the earth. It is described as a place where the souls of the deceased reside, separated from the living world. The primary purpose of Yomi was to house the dead and serve as the counterpart to the heavenly realm of Takamagahara. Japanese beliefs hold that Yomi is ruled by Izanami, the goddess who descended there after her death. Zazura. Zazura is a mythical city or oasis mentioned in various ancient texts and Bedouin folklore. Often described as a white city filled with treasures and guarded by black giants. It is depicted as a hidden oasis in the deserts of Egypt or Libya, with lush palm trees, clear springs, and abundant riches. The primary purpose of Zazura was to represent an elusive paradise of wealth and safety, a place sought after by adventurers and explorers. The folklore surrounding Zazura often includes tales of lost travellers finding this hidden city only to discover its magical and mysterious qualities. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the journey through these mythical realms. If you want to stay updated with more fascinating content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Yours truly, Mythos, the historian.